How's it going? It's Friday night, and you know what that means. It's jerky night. Tonight is episode 33, and the name of the marinade we're going to use tonight is called Dixie Jerky. I'm going to read off you these ingredients, and then we're going to have a little conversation. The ingredients in this marinade include 10 ounces of soy sauce, 10 ounces of teriyaki sauce, 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of liquid smoke, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 tablespoon of Old Bay Seasoning. So, what part of that list of ingredients says Dixie to you? Let's go through them again. Is it the soy sauce? Is it the teriyaki sauce? Is it the Worcestershire sauce? Liquid smoke? Maybe. Black pepper is universal. Cayenne pepper, that's Louisiana. Not really Dixie, it's in the South. Dixie, let me be clear, really corresponds to the Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia area. Florida, not really Dixie, except for Northwest Florida, which is really lower Alabama. And it's bordered by South Carolina, Tennessee, and Arkansas, and Louisiana. Louisiana is a territory unto itself. It is not Dixie, it is Louisiana. Cayenne pepper is Cajun. I could give you a whole video on where the Cajuns came from, but I won't. Now, my family, for many, many generations, is from Alabama, the heart of Dixie, and before that, from Georgia, all the way back to the Revolutionary times. So, now you know a little bit more about me. I've also got actually a pretty detailed family history that covers all that way, way, way back in some of my early videos. My point being, this is not Dixie Jerky. Let's keep going on. Brown sugar. Okay, brown sugar's in a lot of recipes. Honey, not in very many recipes, but still doesn't say Dixie to me. Old Bay Seasoning. This is what really gets under my skin, and I will tell you why. Last episode, I made East Coast jerky. Well, I live in the Mid-Atlantic, the Chesapeake region. Old Bay is a prominent spice used in cooking crabs, seasoning crab here, Chesapeake, blue crabs. I grew up on a barrier island off the coast of Florida, Northwest Florida, lower Alabama. We went and caught crabs in our backyard and cooked them in crab boil and ate them. We'd never heard of Old Bay seasoning down there. I had never heard of Old Bay until I moved here to the Mid-Atlantic area. So, I will say to you, this should actually have been the East Coast jerky. If this had been East Coast, I would have totally bought off on it. This is not Dixie Jerky. Okay, I have finished with my rant. In the meantime, let's go ahead and make this, whatever you want to call it, and see how it turns out. I mean, the ingredients are interesting. It seems like there's going to be some heat. Cayenne pepper, lots of black pepper. Seems like there's going to be some sweet. Brown sugar and honey. I don't know what the Old Bay is going to do to it. We'll see how that works out. In the meantime, I guess we need to just go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and cut up this meat. We got a nice 2 1/4 pound eye round steak, and that's exactly what we want to use for our base for this. Now, we're not going to be able to use the Snugtopia tonight. We're just going to use the big bowl because of the sheer volume of the liquids. So, I guess let's go ahead and get started cutting this. Alright, looks like a pretty good batch. Hardly any gristle at all. Very pleased about that. So let's go ahead and get it cleaned up. We're not going to put this in the bowl. We're just going to set it aside. And guess we'll quick cleanup, and then we will put the marinade together. All right, the meat's cut. Looks like a pretty good batch. Let's go ahead and put the marinade together. We'll start with the solid ingredients, then we'll add the liquids. First ingredient we're going to put in is the brown sugar. All right, that's 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. For 2 pounds, it's going to make 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. Next is 2 teaspoons of black pepper. 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. 2 tablespoons of Old Bay. In case you were wondering what's in Old Bay, I'll read off a few of the ingredients. You have celery salt, celery seed, spices including red pepper and black pepper, and paprika. It's very celery smelling. Okay, we're going to put the honey in last, so that gives us pepper, cayenne pepper, brown sugar, and Old Bay seasoning for our dry goods. Next, we start out with 10 ounces of soy sauce. This bottle is 10 ounces. $10 ounces of teriyaki sauce. This bottle is 10 ounces. ½ cup of Worcestershire sauce. 4 tablespoons of liquid smoke. Okay, let's give this a whisking and then we'll put the honey in last. All right, finally 2 tablespoons of honey. All right, let's stir this again to get it nicely mixed. Well, all right, let's get the meat in there. Put a little bit of covering on it, put it in the fridge, and I guess we'll see how this is going to turn out tomorrow. It seems interesting, but I question the Dixie connection, as I mentioned. Okay, let's put the meat in, let's get it in the fridge, and I guess we'll see you tomorrow. All right, good morning. It's Saturday morning. Let's go ahead and get this jerky on the dehydrator and see how it turns out. Now, I will say, I have strained it. Of course, you know there's a lot of liquid in it. It did absorb quite a bit of all of the goodness, and you can really smell the Old Bay in it. So we're gonna go ahead and get it on the dehydrator and get it started. And I guess we'll see in a little bit how this turns out. All right, here we go. All right, there we have it. Barely got 5 trays. I think that I cut this a little thicker than normal, so didn't get quite the volume that I normally do out of this. I also layered the trays pretty thin. So, I don't know, not a huge batch, but we will certainly see here in a little bit what sort of quality this batch is. All right, well, let's go ahead and fire this up, and I guess we'll see you back here in a few hours. All right, it's been about 3 hours now. We're gonna go ahead and rotate these trays and let this go for just a little bit longer and see how it turns out. All right, we'll see you back here in another hour. I think it might be done by then, but we'll see soon enough. All right. Well, it looks like some of our jerky is dry, so we're going to go ahead and give it a try. This is not Dixie Jerky, but we're going to see how it tastes anyway. Very sweet. As usual, celery is a very strong flavor. So the Old Bay is there. There's some heat there too. It's actually pretty good. I kind of like it. It's not Dixie Jerky, but it's good jerky. All right, well, there you go. Bon appetit.